Before I start, if you are new here, I want to ask you to subscribe. The stories I tell are not made up. They are real. They are rough. And they may change how you look at trust, marriage, and the people you think you know. My name is Daniel Reed. I am 52 years old. I am the kind of man who spent most of his life doing simple, steady things. I went to work, came home, paid the bills, raised my kids, and tried every day to be the kind of husband a woman could depend on. I was never dramatic. I was never the loud one in a room. I did not storm into places demanding everyone listen to me. I did not shout or throw fits. My belief was always this: you do not need to be loud to be strong. You do not need to make a scene to have strength. Sometimes real strength is just staying on your feet, day after day, even when life is not kind. My wife, Claire, used to say she liked that about me. She said I was calm. She said I was stable. She said I was the rock of the family. Maybe she meant that once. Maybe she only thought she did. Maybe she liked that I was steady until the day she did not. We had been married for 19 years. We had known each other for 22 years. We had 2 children together. Our son Ethan is 14. He is growing fast. These days he can look me right in the eyes without tilting his head back. He is still young, but I can already see the man he will become. Our daughter Lily is 10. She still makes small pictures for me and leaves them on my desk before school. Sometimes she draws our family. Sometimes she draws hearts or animals. Little pieces of love on notebook paper. Our life was not perfect. We had normal problems. We had bills. We had tired days. We had small arguments about chores and schedules. It was our life, our home, our family. I truly believe we were doing all right. Not a fairy tale, but solid. Good enough. This story is not about that life. This story is about how it broke in one night. It started on a Wednesday morning. It should have been an ordinary, easy day. I was in the kitchen making breakfast. Toast popping up. Coffee brewing. Cereal on the table. Backpacks lay open on the chairs, half-packed. Ethan sat at the table staring at his phone like it held the secrets of the universe. Lily poked at her cereal, trying to decide if she felt like eating or just playing with the spoon. I reminded Ethan again to wear socks that actually matched. I said it for the 10th time that week. He rolled his eyes the way teenagers do, but he did it. Claire was not home. She had been gone for 3 days on a work trip to Denver. She worked in corporate training. She liked the whole business travel life. She liked flying out, staying in nice hotels, walking through big lobbies with her work badge around her neck. She liked room service salads and professional meetings and the feeling of being an important woman on the move. Usually, when she traveled, she kept in touch. At least once every day, she would call or video chat with kids. She liked to send pictures of her meals or the hotel room or the view from the conference center. But this trip was different. This week, there had been almost nothing from her. A few short replies. Some late answers. One missed call at 1:13 in the morning that she never explained. I had woken up, seen the missed call, tried to call her back, and gotten nothing. No follow-up. No apology. I told myself she was just busy. Conferences can be loud and stressful. Long days, crowded rooms, small talk, late nights, and early mornings. I told myself not to overthink it. But every time I looked at my phone and saw no new message from her, something sharp pressed into my chest. A quiet warning I kept trying to ignore. That Wednesday morning, while Ethan scrolled and Lily stirred her cereal without eating it, an idea came into my head so suddenly that I spoke it out loud without planning to. What if we go surprise Mom this weekend? Lily lifted her head like I had just told her she could open presents early. Her whole face lit up. Really, we can go to her hotel. Her voice was full of excitement. She almost glowed. Even Ethan stopped scrolling for once. He looked up and gave a small nod. That would be cool, he said. For a teenager, that meant yes, absolutely. That was all I needed. That one line, that look on both their faces. By noon that day, I had called my boss and arranged to take Friday off. I booked plane tickets for the 3 of us to Denver. I went online and found a flower shop near the Denver Marriott, the hotel where Claire was staying. I asked them to prepare a bouquet for us to pick up on Friday. Lily insisted that we get daisies. She said they were happy flowers. I did not argue. Happy flowers for what I thought would be a happy surprise. I sent Claire a few texts during the day. Simple messages. Asking how her trip was going. Asking how the sessions were. Nothing strange. Nothing heavy. Nothing about my plan. She did not answer. That should have bothered me more. Maybe it did, deep down, but I pushed it aside. Maybe I did not want to admit what I was afraid of. Then Friday came. We drove to the airport. Ethan checked the gate number again and again on the screen like he was afraid we would somehow end up in the wrong city. Lily carried the stuffed bear she had loved since kindergarten. She held it by one arm like she always did. I tried to look relaxed and casual, but I kept taking my phone out of my pocket, hoping to see a message from Claire. Nothing. Every time I called, it went straight to voicemail. No ringing. No answering. Just that recorded voice. The flight itself was only about 3 hours, but to me it felt much longer. I sat between my children, trying to quiet the tight feeling in my chest. I told myself again and again that everything was fine, that she was just busy, that the surprise would make her day. Still, a thought kept trying to rise in my mind. What if something is wrong? And not the kind of wrong like a delayed flight or a lost suitcase. A different kind of wrong. When we landed in Denver, I turned my phone back on and tried to call Claire again. Straight to voicemail. I looked at Lily, who was smiling and talking about how she could not wait to see her mom. I looked at Ethan, who hid his feelings better but still seemed eager. Their happiness was too bright. I could not darken it by showing my worry. We picked up the rental car and drove to the flower shop to get the bouquet. The florist handed Lily a big bunch of daisies, fresh and bright. Lily sniffed them and grinned. She picked out a small card and wrote a little note to her mother. We got back into the car and headed toward the hotel. I talked as I drove. I told the kids how surprised their mother would be. I said that when she opened the door and saw them standing there, she would probably cry happy tears. I said this would be the kind of memory we would talk about for years. But in the middle of my own words, I realized a part of me did not believe them. Not fully. The Denver Marriott was a tall building with shining glass and polished floors. The lobby was quiet and smooth, with soft lighting and comfortable chairs. People with rolling suitcases moved past us, looking busy and important. I had told Ethan and Lily to sit on the big blue couches near the fountain. Stay here for a minute, I said. I will find out Mom's room number. They both nodded. Lily kept the flowers close like they might fly away. I walked up to the front desk. A woman with a neat uniform and calm smile greeted me. Good afternoon, sir. How can I help you? I said. My wife is staying here. Her name is Claire Reed. I would like to know which room she is in. The woman typed on her keyboard, checked the screen, and then nodded. Mrs. Reed is in room 912, she said. Would you like me to call the room for you? Something about her tone felt slightly careful, like she was unsure. Yes, please, I said. She dialed the room. I listened as it rang, and kept ringing. No answer. She hung up and said, There's no answer. She might be in the shower, I said, forcing a small smile. Would it be possible to get a key for the room? Our children want to bring her flowers and surprise her. The woman at the desk hesitated for a small moment. It was not long, but it was enough to send a strange chill through me. Then she nodded and printed a key card out. Of course, sir, she said, handing it to me. I thanked her and went back to the couches. Ready? I asked. Lily jumped up with the flowers. Ethan stood, shoving his phone into his pocket. We took the elevator up to the 9th floor. Lily hummed under her breath. Ethan watched the floor numbers rise on the screen. The hallway was quiet and soft, with warm lights and thick carpet. We walked down to room 912. I stopped at the door and looked at my kids. You both stand right behind me, I said. We will go in together. They nodded again. I slid the card into the lock. The light turned green. I pressed the handle. The door opened easily, as if it had not been locked all that firmly. I pushed it wider and stepped only part way through. I did not walk all the way inside at once. I paused in the doorway and let my eyes adjust to the dimmer light of the hotel room. My brain started trying to make sense of the scene in front of me. The first thing I saw was Claire's blazer draped over an armchair. It was not folded. It was not hung up. It looked thrown. That was not like her. She was careful with her clothes. At home, she always told the kids not to toss things around. Next, I noticed her heels near the desk. Her suitcase was on the floor, half open, with clothes spilling out. It looked like someone had been digging through it quickly. By themselves, none of those things were proof of anything. People are messy when they travel. People throw clothes around. But then I saw what did not belong to her at all. On the foot of the bed, there was a navy blue shirt. It was clearly a man's shirt, wrinkled and crumpled. Beside the nightstand, a pair of black dress shoes sat neatly. They were not mine. I had never seen them before. Through the open bathroom door, on the counter, I saw Claire's makeup bag. Right next to it was a bottle of men's cologne. I stopped moving. I stood halfway in the door, halfway out, not able to move forward or step back. The bouquet of daisies was still in my hand. The plastic around the stems made a soft sound when I shifted my grip. I looked at the flowers and thought how wrong they looked in that room. Too bright. Too innocent. They did not match what my eyes were seeing. I walked inside. The carpet under my shoes felt almost too soft, like it was trying to swallow the sound of each step out of respect for what was happening. Without thinking, I set the flowers down on the desk. That was when I saw her phone. Claire never left her phone lying out where others could see. At home, she kept it with her all the time. She kept it close. She locked it. She put it face down, but now it was sitting right there on the desk. The screen was on. It was unlocked. A message was still open on the screen. If your husband calls, ignore. I will keep you late. There was a little winking face after the words. I stared at it. I did not blink. I did not take a breath. My hand stayed steady. I looked at the words. I looked at the time they were sent. I took in the meaning behind that small line and that small emoji. The calm cruelty of it. In my ears, I could hear my own heartbeat. Slow and heavy point, one part of me wanted to pick up that phone and throw it so hard it broke. Another part of me wanted to sit down and cry. Instead, I did what I've always done in difficult moments. I stayed quiet. I put the phone neatly back where it had been. I looked around the room again. The sheets on the bed were messed up. There was a towel on the floor. 2 coffee cups on the counter. 2 hotel key cards sitting side by side near the television. At that point, nothing needed to be explained to me with words. The room itself was shouting the truth. That was when I heard voices in the hallway outside the door. They sounded muffled at first. Then they became clearer. The latch on the door began to move. By instinct, I stepped away from the doorway and turned my body slightly toward the window. I did not hide, but I moved so I was not right in front of the opening. The door swung open. Claire walked in. She was wearing only a white towel around her body. Her hair was wet. Her skin was still flush from the shower, pink and warm. She was laughing at something, a free, light laugh, the kind I had not heard from her in a long time. Then she saw me standing there. The sound stopped at once. Her smile vanished. The color left her face. Daniel, she said quietly, grabbing the towel tighter with one hand. Behind her, a man stepped into the room. He also had a towel wrapped around his waist. He was using another towel to dry his hair. As soon as he saw me, he froze, blinking like he had walked into the wrong movie. Claire did not fall on the floor. She did not scream. She did not start begging for forgiveness the way you might imagine. Instead, she went straight into anger and defense. Why did you not call first, she snapped. Her voice sounded annoyed, like I was the one in the wrong. Like I had interrupted something normal. In that moment, something inside me became very clear and sharp. I did not answer her question. I did not look long at the man behind her. I did not raise my voice. I did not say any curse words. I reached for the bouquet on the desk, picked it up, and stepped away from the door. Kids, I called down the hallway in a calm voice. Come and say hello to your mother. Claire's eyes grew wide with fear. Daniel, no. Do not do that, she said. But it was already too late. Ethan reached the doorway first. He walked in with that mix of teenage slump and sudden alert focus. He stopped as soon as he took in the sight of his mother in a towel and the strange man behind her wearing another towel. His face changed. Something in him hardened. No boy of 14 should have to learn this lesson that way. Lily hurried right past him, excited, not noticing the tension at first. Her small backpack bounced against her back. She was holding the card she had made on the plane. Mommy, she said, lifting a few of the daisies from the bouquet. We came to surprise you. Claire looked like someone had just pushed a knife into her. The man in the towel took a small step back, like he wanted to disappear into the wall. I watched Claire's expression twist and change. Shock, shame, guilt, and underneath it all, something I knew very well. Fear. Lily, sweetheart, Claire said, trying to form a smile that did not reach her eyes. I did not know you were coming. Why did your dad not? I put the bouquet fully into her hands. He sent you a message, I said in a quiet voice. Maybe you should hide it from your daughter. Claire's breath shook. She looked at the phone on the desk. Then she looked at Ethan's face. Then at Lily's wide, trusting eyes. For the first time in a long time, she had no answer. The silence in that room was heavy. It pressed on all of us. I bent down and zipped Lily's backpack. Kids, I said, get your things. The man in the towel tried again to speak. Look, this is awkward, he started. I did not know she was. I lifted my hand without even turning my head toward him. Do not, I said. He went quiet immediately. Ethan folded his arms tightly across his chest. Lily looked from face to face, confused. Claire was no longer able to keep her careful, controlled look. Her eyes filled with tears. Her voice shook. But still, no tears fell yet. She held them back in front of kids. Daniel, please, she said softly. Let me explain. No, I replied. Not here. My voice was calm, almost flat. The exact opposite of what she probably expected. Get dressed, I said. We'll talk downstairs. She nodded slowly and stepped back into the room with the man, pulling the door mostly closed. I took my children to the elevator. Lily still clutched a single flower. Ethan walked stiffly beside me, holding himself together by pure effort. When the elevator doors opened into the lobby, I thought we would step into empty space and quiet air. We did not. We stepped into another shock. Standing near the front desk were Claire's parents. They had bags in their hands and coats over their arms. They were here too. They had come to surprise her as well, because of a message I had sent them earlier that day before everything fell apart. I had thought it would be a nice family reunion. Her father turned and smiled when he saw us. Daniel, there you are, he said. We wanted to. Then he saw Ethan's tight face. Then he saw the flowers in Lily's hands. Then he saw my expression. And then he looked toward the second elevator and saw Claire walking out of it. Her hair was still damp. Her makeup was smudged. Behind her, half hidden, was the man from the room. Her father did not need anyone to explain that in 1 second. He understood the whole situation. He looked at his daughter with a kind of deep disappointment that seemed to make him look older right away, like the moment itself added 10 years to his face. Rebecca, he said quietly to her. That is the man you thought was worth losing your family for. Claire's mother lifted her hand to her mouth. Her eyes filled with tears. Claire closed her eyes. In that moment, I knew that nothing she could say now would change what she had done. Not her reasons. Not her tears. Not her apologies. I put a hand on Ethan's shoulder and guided Lily with the other. We walked past them all. I said only one sentence as we moved toward the doors. We are going home. We left the hotel in a silence that felt heavy and solid, as if the air itself weighed more than it should. Outside, the evening air was cold and sharp. It felt cleaner than the thick, messy feeling of that room and that lobby. I carried Lily in my arms. She was tired and confused. She started to ask why her mom had looked so scared, but halfway through the question, she fell asleep against my shoulder, still holding her stuffed bear. Ethan walked next to me with his jaw clenched and his hands shoved deep into his hoodie pockets. He tried to look grown, but the tightness in his face told me how much it hurt. I did not turn around. I did not look back at the hotel entrance. I did not want to see Claire chasing after us, or crying, or trying to explain. I did not want to watch her panic, now that the cost of her choices had shown up. We reached the rental car. I gently put Lily into her seat, buckled her in, and made sure her bear was tucked beside her. I handed Ethan his belt without saying a word. He clicked it in place and stared out the window. I started the engine. I did not turn on music. I did not put on the radio. The only sounds were the low hum of the car and the soft breathing of my children. Halfway back to the airport, Ethan finally spoke. Dad, he said quietly, are we going home? Yes, I answered. Right now. Yes. Right now. Thought he swallowed hard and kept looking at the passing lights outside his window. Do we have to come back for her, he asked. That question hit me harder than anything else that night. No, I said. We do not. In the rearview mirror, I could see Lily asleep, her bear under her chin, one small hand still loosely holding a crushed daisy from the bouquet. The sight nearly broke me. At the airport, we went to the counter to change our tickets. The agent asked if our trip had been cut short. Yes, I said. She asked if everything was all right. I did not answer that question. I just nodded and let her do her job. Not every story is meant to be told in short form at a check-in desk. We got on a late flight home. Lily slept almost the whole time with her head resting on my arm. Ethan did not sleep at all. He wore earbuds, but did not play any music. He just stared at the dark space in front of him. I did not close my eyes either. I knew if I did, I would see the hotel room again. Claire turning and seeing me. The man behind her. My kids in the doorway, holding flowers for their mother while another man's shirt lay on the bed. When we landed back in our home city, the sky was just starting to grow pale with morning light. I carried Lily to the car again and put her gently in her seat. I loaded our bags and closed the trunk. We drove home through quiet streets. Our house looked the same as always when we pulled into the driveway. We walked inside. Everything was exactly where it had been. The furniture, the pictures on the wall, the shoes by the door, the coat on the back of a chair. It all looked normal, but it did not feel normal. While I made breakfast, Lily woke up on the couch and came into the kitchen, rubbing her eyes. Daddy, where's Mommy? She asked. I stopped for a moment. It was only a second, but she noticed. Mommy has to finish her work trip, I said gently. She will come home later. It was not a full lie. She did still have to come back from Denver. But it was the last time I let myself soften the truth. After breakfast, I told Ethan to take a shower. Lily curled up on the couch and turned on cartoons. I sat at the kitchen table and looked at my phone. There were no messages from Claire. No calls. No apologies. Her silence felt just as loud as the disaster in that hotel room. Around noon, my phone finally lit up with her name. I did not answer. She called again. I declined it. I was not driven by rage. I was driven by clarity. I was not ready to listen to her voice. By later that afternoon, my phone was full of her attempts to reach me. Text messages, voicemails, calls. She wrote that she was sorry. She wrote that it was a mistake. She wrote that she never meant to hurt us. She wrote that she loved me. I did not respond. Around 5 in the evening, the doorbell rang. Ethan called down the stairs. Dad, someone is at the door. My stomach tightened again. I opened the door. Claire was standing there. She looked tired, older, worn out. Her makeup was smudged. Her hair was pulled back in a loose, messy bun. She still wore the same coat she had left in. There was a rideshare car idling at the curb behind her. Daniel, she said quietly. Please, can we talk just the two of us? Her eyes were swollen from crying. Her face was red. For a second, I saw the woman I had loved for many years. But just for a second. Not now, I said. Where are the kids? She asked quickly. Inside, I said. They are fine. Can I see them? No, I replied. She flinched as if I had hit her. Daniel, they are my children, she said. And you are their mother, I answered, keeping my voice low and steady. But today is not the day for that. She nodded slowly. Tears formed in her eyes again. I made a mistake, she said. A stupid, unforgivable mistake. But please do not shut me out. I did not yell at her. I did not insult her. Claire, I said. I did not shut you out. You walked out on us long before you ever packed your suitcase. She put her hand over her mouth and cried a little harder. Please, she whispered. Please let me talk to you. Please let me explain everything. Tomorrow, I said. Not today. She nodded again, shoulders slumped. Then she turned and went back to the car. That night, Ethan came into the living room and sat down next to me. Is she coming back? He asked. She'll come back to town, I said. But things are changing. Are you guys getting divorced? He asked. His voice was steady. Mine almost was not. Maybe, I said honestly. We will figure it out. He pulled his knees up and leaned against me just a little. It was the smallest show of closeness I had felt from him in a long time. I didn't want to live with her if she is with that guy, he muttered. You will not, I said. I promise. The next day, Claire and I sat at the kitchen table across from each other. No children, no television, no noise, just the two of us. She tried to explain. She said she had been lonely. She said it just happened. She said it was a moment of weakness. She said it was a mistake. But I knew that this was not about one moment. This was about many choices. Secret messages. Hidden calls. Meeting behind my back. After a long time, she finally said she was sorry. I am sorry, she said, voice breaking. I know that sorry is not enough, but I am so sorry, Daniel. I nodded. I know, I said, but that does not fix it. And she finally broke down. She cried for real. Her shoulders shook. Tears ran down her face. She covered her eyes with her hands. I sat there and did not reach for her. Not because I want to hurt her, but because for years I had carried the emotional weight of our marriage alone. That day I stopped. I told her I would be filing for divorce. She did not argue. She did not scream. She did not threaten. She just nodded slowly, like she already knew it was the only path left. In the weeks that followed, the legal steps began. Papers were written. Papers were signed. Arrangements were made. Ethan stayed with me. He was clear about where he wanted to live. At first, Lily spent some time with each of us. She asked a lot of questions in the beginning. When is Mommy coming? Is Mommy still at the hotel? Why are you and Mommy mad? Bit by bit, her questions changed. After a while, she cared more about things like, When can we bake cookies again? Can we paint my room a new color? Can we get more daisies for the yard? One evening, around 3 weeks after the day at the hotel, Lily climbed into my lap while I was reading. Daddy, she said quietly, is Mommy still in trouble? I wrapped my arms around her and kissed the top of her head. Sweetheart, I said, Mommy made a grown-up mistake. But you and your brother are my whole life. That will never change. She relaxed against my chest and went back to humming softly. For the first time since Denver, I felt something inside my chest finally loosen. It was not full forgiveness. It was not complete peace. But it was the beginning of something new. A future without secret messages. A future without hotel rooms like that. A future built on honesty with my children. A future that belonged to me, Ethan, and Lily. If you stay with me all the way to the end of this story, thank you for listening. And if you want to hear more true betrayal stories told by someone who lived through them, make sure you subscribe.